Test, test, test.
It's gonna take us out.
You can mute it. It's gonna echo.
Check, check. Program 09, Mediapipe. I don't use it because of the way that I do my work. Yeah, but it is like it's an extraordinarily powerful piece of software.
I couldn't really even understand it. I downloaded it, but I see that it's pretty complex.
Yeah, yeah,
Meaning it's probably quite powerful, but does it kind of work simply, I guess.
yeah. The learning curve for it is definitely like very steep, and just like personally, especially being so well versed in like text-based programming, coming into like a node-based and like visual programming language, I'm not crazy about. And especially like when I've seen people build very complex projects in Touch Designer, to me it just like begins to become intractable because you have like a whole bunch of nodes.
Hey guys, we're gonna kick off in like 2 minutes. Yeah, feel free to join the party. I feel like Okay. Hey, finally. Sorry. AirPlay continuity issues. You can tell where I'm using my personal iPhone for this. So, welcome to Program 09. Thanks. I do this every time. I like to ask people like how many times they've been to a program event. If this is your first program event, just like raise your hand. Okay, awesome. Ben, of course. Cool, well, thank you so much. We've been doing this event series now for about 6 months or so, and the whole reason we started to do this was because I, like many other people, are just like observing and watching all of these changes happening around us. There's so much new software being built. There's so many new ways of making software. There's so much tooling that's becoming available to us that it's actually pretty overwhelming to keep track of all of it. And so I wanted to learn about these new things, but I didn't want to just do it in isolation. I wanted to do it with people. I don't want to just sit in front of YouTube all day and learn about these things. So I wanted to do it with people, and then, but I also wanted to create an event where you actually make something, right? So instead of just making an event where I'm learning about something, I'm actually making it. So I created Program as this single event to learn about agents back in like November 2024. And the whole concept was around these three things: that you learn something new, you do it with people and meet people, new people in the community, and you make something. And that's really what this whole event series has been, is about. So for the folks that have been to these program events, you kind of understand the format. Today's event is focused on, just like every event, today's event is focused on a very, very specific technology. The technology is called Mediapipe. I don't want to I don't want to say I fully understand how it all functions, but one of the things that really, really interested me about Mediapipe and how I learned about it was when I saw a demo of someone essentially using their hands and eyes to create like a musical instrument, and they did it via the web. You may have seen this demo on Twitter, and when I learned, I got really curious about that, and I tried to figure out like how did they actually do this. I learned about this whole ecosystem called Mediapipe, which is a whole set of models and tools that are available for people to do things around computer vision, but also a lot more. And just like every time I've run one of these events, I said, hey, let's create an event around this new technology. It feels like an interesting affordance. So today's event is all about Mediapipe, and I am really, really happy to be joined with Ben Lapalainen. That's right. Yeah. Ben is a creative technologist based in Toronto, and has been doing some really, really cool work in both Mediapipe, but also, broadly speaking, the creative code space. And we're super, super happy to have you here today. I'm going to hand off to Ben shortly. He's going to talk about some of those experiments, and then, like other program events, we will have a builder's time. About the majority of this event is actually you building stuff. So we'll have some builder's time where you can either do it solo or in teams, where you'll try out the product, try out Mediapipe, and actually see what you can do with it. And then at the end of the evening, around 8 p.m. or so, we'll do demos. There will, and before I hand it off to Ben, just a couple of logistical things. If you haven't been seen already, the washrooms are downstairs. We will also have pizza arriving around 7:15, 7:30-ish. And so once the builder time starts, you guys will have some pizza and enjoy that. And yeah, thank you again for coming to program, and hopefully we're going to have an amazing evening and learn something new. So I'm going to hand it off to Ben.
You might want to check your cameras working. Yeah. I'm not sure if the stream is. Unsure. Do you want me to just Go. Okay, great. Cool, yeah, so my name is Benjamin Lapalainen. As Tarun said, creative technologist based in Toronto. A little bit more about my background is I studied aerospace engineering at U of T, decided I didn't want to be in that industry and pivoted into tech. Did some product management and software development at a smart home lighting company called Nanoleaf. Built some of their software for like screen mirroring and taking, if you're like gaming or playing or watching movies on your computer, you can take that and match the ambiance in your room with your smart lights. So that was kind of what I did for them. And now you see that functionality everywhere in 1,000,001 rip-off products. So proud of that. Yeah, so today I'll be talking a little bit about Mediapipe and what I've done with it in a couple different areas. So I guess the most concise kind of summary that I can give for Mediapipe is quite buzzwordy, I guess. It's just like AI at the edge. It's an open source suite of software built by Google, and it specializes in running machine learning models that are very small, very efficient, and can run on pretty much any consumer device. As Tarun was mentioning, there's a lot of demos of it out there that are specifically computer vision based. So it can do things like hand tracking, body tracking, face tracking, in terms of like establishing your pose from just like a regular RGB camera video frame. But it can also do a whole bunch of other stuff. If you have a laptop out and are interested in looking at this, I'm sure you could have Googled it already, but mediapipe.dev will take you to the Google AI for Developers page. And on here, you can see it does a whole bunch of other stuff. So there's things like object detection, image segmentation, gesture recognition. So for example, it can, you can train it to do stuff like thumbs up, thumbs down, peace sign, things like that. Face stylization. One of the newer things that they add is they have a large language model inference API that you can access, language detector, audio classification. So really the possibilities for this thing are pretty crazy in terms of a lot of the AI applications that you can think of building. You can do it with this. I won't do too much digging into this. I'll let you explore this at your own leisure in the building time. But the beautiful thing is that every single one of these sections has examples for Android, web, Python, and iOS. Some of them are missing one or two, but the vast majority of them have interactive examples that you can play with in your browser. Yeah. So as I kind of mentioned there, the main entry points to this are either Python-based or web-based. Web-based, I think, is the most compelling thing because it allows you to build a web page and then run AI stuff in the web page delivered directly to the user. Yeah, so I'll get into a couple little demos that I've got. So a lot of my creative technology practice is very art-centric, honestly. I do like interactive installations and things that have been shown in galleries. And I also do a lot of kind of little sketches that just kind of show different possibilities for what you can do with Mediapipe. So you can see maybe in the bottom right corner that I've got me, and then you can see there's a hand skeleton there, tracks pretty accurately, and then currently I have it such that the distance between my thumb and finger is controlling the camera movement in this 3D scene. So just like a very rudimentary kind of way of using it, but that's one example. I'll go back to me. And also this environment that I'm running it in, depending, I'm not sure what the demographic here is like, but in the creative coding space, there are a bunch of different kind of like graphics libraries that allow you to very easily do things like drawing in 2D and 3D on the canvas on the web. I am a huge proponent and user for P5.js. It's a very accessible creative coding framework, generally geared towards learning. It's open source, fantastic, wonderful community around it. Join the Discord, contribute, highly recommend. And then in addition to P5, there's another thing called ML5, which is kind of like a wrapper around, it uses Mediapipe as one of its backends. But this is like a very accessible way to use it in tandem with creative coding software like P5. Yeah, so it gives you kind of a convenience layer on top of Mediapipe's functionality of hand tracking, face tracking, body tracking, other stuff like that. I'll show another thing as a demo. So this is kind of like a slightly weird idea I had for, I guess, an extended reality experience or something that's like vaguely mixed reality. So I actually, currently the webcam is looking at me and I'm doing like head control of the camera in this 3D scene in the browser. So certainly not the most practical thing, but displays the functionality of it at least. Yeah, just an interesting idea I had because I was thinking about like, personally, VR I think is very interesting, but also it's very limiting in terms of accessibility because obviously if somebody wants to experience something in VR, they need the hardware. I'm a big fan of like simulators for like gaming, like whether that's like flight simulators or driving simulators. And you can do things like eye tracking or face tracking that can then give you like part of that VR experience at least with something like this, where if I tilt my head to the left, maybe I'm like looking at the mirror in my driving game or whatever. Yeah, stuff like that. So those are a couple of the, I guess, purely online experiences that I've got. I'm currently working on an app that my working title is PoseLink. And the goal of this is to make it even more accessible from a no-code route to artists and creatives. And so my main thinking around this is that I want it to be able to integrate with the creative tools that creatives are using already. So for example, if you're a musician, you probably use a digital audio workstation that can take in MIDI data, for instance. And so I've got a bunch of protocols that I'm supporting here. And then if I go into here, I've got face tracking enabled. We'll do that. And then you can see, see if this will work for me. In classic fashion, the demo of my app doesn't want to work when I do the presentation. That's fine. We'll see if this one will work then. Okay. I was hoping that the artist that I was working with was actually going to be here for this. This is an artist that I connected with recently, so this is not my artwork, but this is a prototype that him and I were working on for like kind of doing a interactive real-time experience. And so you can see as I'm talking, it's mapping the lips to my lip movements. And so the way that I'm doing this is through my application here. And I guess it's pretty hard to see on the screen, but I don't know, maybe you can see it in the live stream. There's a couple, or a number of different green key points that are being drawn on my face. And so I'm just taking like the key points that are at the top and bottom of my lip and doing a little bit of math to map that onto the characters over there. So pretty silly, pretty fun. mostly art-focused stuff. I've seen a lot of different applications because, you know, the possibilities are kind of endless with this. As Tarun mentioned again, like there's music stuff. I've seen people build like so many different versions of like a virtual theremin using this, like the kind of loopy sounding synthy sci-fi instrument. I've also seen, I mean, Google's more boring examples, which I guess are more utilitarian, are like workout pose trackers, so it can tell like, oh, are you going deep enough on your squat? How long are you holding your squat? And then it can be an app that does that kind of stuff for you. I guess mostly I've been demoing the hand and face tracking. I could show one more example that I built as a prototype for an installation that unfortunately did not happen, but so as you can see, that's kind of a abstract representation of my body. It's getting kind of like the pose of my arms, and then just like blowing it up and rendering it on this kind of interactive grid. Yeah, so that's Mediapipe. Once again, summarizing, there's like the Python way of accessing it and the web way of accessing it. I personally, most of the time, use it in tandem with the creative coding software P5.js. Yeah, so I don't know, any questions before we kind of get to building? I've been yapping for around 12 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my questions is like, what, like face tracking and object, these types of things, the concepts are not new. Like, is Mediapipe the thing that they did well, that it just was super easy for it to distribute, or like, how is it different than some of the existing technology that allows you to do those types of things?
A lot of the models, the pre-trained models, are just very, very small and efficient and were specifically made to run on edge devices. So like they specifically did a whole bunch of benchmarking on like inference times, not just on, you know, like 4090s and beefy GPUs, but they do like CPU latency tests and like for devices without a GPU. So I think that was one of the biggest things, is the fact that most of these models can run at like 60 FPS on a CPU. Like you don't even need a GPU to run it.
So then technically, like you could run it on a Raspberry Pi.
A lot of it depends on the model. Yeah, yeah,
But like,
yeah.
like, do you think that then there's like applications for it to be running on like, you know, in robotics, right? In like instance, okay, so it becomes like this thing that helps you learn about, you know, helps like robots interface with the real world, because it's so memory and resource or compute efficient.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yep, so really efficient stuff, and then also being able to really easily deploy it to users, just because like it's no config, no setup. You can just like have it deployed via a website, and then all of a sudden they have AI functionality in the browser. So, yeah.
You turn your like B2B SaaS into like an Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm currently in the process of like building a new website for myself and trying to do all these like wacky interaction design things, and I think I'm probably going to try to work in that like very impractical head tilting system into at least one page, just for fun, and then also doing like kind of that, you know, Jarvis style navigation of like having hand and maybe like pinch for like navigating around. So, yeah.
Andy, you had a question?
Do you know if there's anything in parallel with Apple's edge models, like Apple Intelligence edge models?
Given that it's like generally built by Google, Mediapipe was, I don't know if there's too much cross-pollination there. Are you thinking particularly in terms of like optimizations with like MLX inference or?
I just mean like capabilities. Like, could you? I think was it is WWC there actually? I don't even know if they've opened up their models. I'm thinking this pretty vaguely called this WWC. I thought I heard they may have just only now have opened up API access to their edge models.
Yeah, I think it's, at least from what I'm aware of, it's just another option that's available. Because like there are Mediapipe examples specifically for iOS for at least some of them.
But they'd be running Google's models.
Yeah, Google's models running on
Yeah.
as an iOS app or something like that. Yeah.
So when you started with this, using this library, what were the main bottlenecks or challenges that you faced?
I mean, at least at the very beginning when I started out, a lot of this wasn't as easy to use as it is now. So honestly, like, it's really easy to get started with this stuff, especially if you use one of the wrappers on it, like ML5, where it's like essentially like 5 lines of initialization, and then you're getting key point data. Like, it's really easy to get started with now. I think one of the main things, honestly, in terms of doing interesting stuff, and it really just depends on what you want to do. My main recommendation for like pose tracking and body tracking is it'll give you absolute values of like, okay, where are the points of your hands in the video frame? The interesting stuff actually comes out of it once you start looking at like the relative position of things to another, like, oh, I can get like finger thumb distances, or like looking at are my fingers raised or lowered, or like angles between like body parts, and things like that are what I'm looking at to build in as like convenience things into my own application. Yeah, and then of course there's the whole just like range of other functionality outside of the pose stuff that you can do. Like for audio classification, you can do like bird call identification deployed on the edge, you know, like, right? Like you could have a solar powered Raspberry Pi that sits in a tree in your backyard, I guess, and identify birds by, you know, that's just off the dome. Like there's so many just wacky, interesting things that this can enable.
I have
Yeah.
another question. So you have shown around like with images. Have you tried from 2D to 3D like point cloud processing and stuff like that? Is that supported in this library or?
I don't believe they have point cloud specific stuff. Yeah, you're thinking like
More into 3D processing, like with
yeah, like
parameters. Yeah,
depth
like
inference from an RGB frame. Yeah, I mean, so that, in my opinion, is kind of the blessing and the curse of this, is that it's extremely accessible in that all of these models, at least the pose detection ones, run on like a webcam. Like you don't need any special hardware to get going with this. You don't need LiDAR, you don't need like Face ID, you don't need anything. But of course, in some of the interactive installations I've built, the moment you hit like adverse lighting conditions, or like, yeah, like you're in a dark room, if the camera can't see you, the tracking doesn't work. So that's where, you know, depth cameras, like, I mean, that's what mostly the Kinect is being used for these days, the gaming thing from Xbox. And there's a whole bunch of depth camera options out there as well. So that's where those excel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like super underrated that you have this technology that can be distributed over the web. I think it's the fact that you can now do this level of like create this new interface and way to interact with your MacBook and your laptop, your computer, just with a webcam, and you can build apps that can be distributed on the web. Using that is, I think, it's super, super underrated. I think that means the web. And of course, my camera is going to sleep at the worst times. But it's also obviously available in a bunch of other places too, like through like, it runs natively as well. Sorry about that.
So does this make like motion capture obsolete? Because it doesn't, there's no suit, there's no dots and all that.
I think it makes it more accessible, that's for sure. One of my friends who's here has been pining after a Rococo motion capture suit because, I mean, like despite things like this being accessible, there's always trade-offs and mostly in like reliability and accuracy. So it can run in real time, it can run really fast. In perfect lighting conditions, it can be extremely accurate. But the moment you start getting into like complex gestures, or like, I might even actually be able to demo this very simply. Let's go to hand tracking. And so what I mean is that if I have my hand like this, it works great. But if I do this, it starts freaking out a little bit, right? And so depending on the configuration, depending on occlusion, so if my thumb is behind, it starts having a lot more trouble. So I think we do still need to be realistic about like, there's a time and place for the very expensive technology, at least for now. And that being said, I mean, even with the expensive tech, at least from what I'm aware of, data cleanup is a big part of animation and motion capture. So a bit of both, but I think like, yeah, going back to the accessibility comment, it makes it a lot easier for the average person to rig up a character to body pose and have it work for at least basic gestures. Yeah, and it depends on your requirements, I guess. Yeah.
Do you have the demo that you were doing on Twitter from you mentioned doing the weekend hack?
It was I didn't look at the Twitter post. I did. Was that a different one?
There was fruit, and you were dragging the fruit to different.
That wasn't mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a different one, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's this gentleman named,
Sorry.
I think, so his Twitter handle is measure plan, just measure_plan. He's actually based in Montreal, and he has been also experimenting with this. And I think is one of his demos that went viral recently. And he actually has a site called funwithcomputervision.com, where you can see a bunch of those types of demos. I think he has one where like you use your hands as musical instruments, things like that. So those are the types of things that can be done. I think right now a lot of people are using it as a toy, which you probably heard the phrase like, all these big things start off as toys. So and so I think there's something like really interesting about this space. So that's one gentleman. There's a couple of others I can share with you offline too, that I was collecting, folks that like are playing with the Mediapipe ecosystem.
Cool.
So thank you so much. All right, so we're going to start Builder's Time now. It's about 6:49. What we're going to do is feel free to self-organize. Oh, thank you. Yeah, feel free to self-organize into groups or individuals and find a seat and get comfortable. We're going to be hacking away on Mediapipe stuff for the next hour or so, hour and a half. And then around about 7:45-ish, I'll come around and just like ask who wants to do demos, right? And again, I really encourage you to demo what you've been playing with, even if it's an unfinished form. It's actually kind of better when you're talking about how you're learning about stuff. So please, I do encourage you to demo. I'll come around and just like make a list of that, and we'll probably do demos roughly around 8. Cool? And like I said, pizza is going to be here in about 15, 20 minutes. Washrooms are downstairs. Yeah, enjoy the evening. And thank you again, Ben.
If you
Yeah.
have any questions or just want to chat, I'll be around working on my own stuff. So.
Cool. And if you're on the live stream, sorry for all the technical issues. Serge, demo?
Nice. Oh, sorry?
Is that your own candid camera?
Oh, am I? Okay. You see the update before the launch?
Yes.
Completely modified the app. This is the new canvas that we have. And basically what we changed from the previous one is made it extremely simple for people to configure. And there's a lot of like product changes basically. So if I'm starting to build something, I can just double click and start adding. And we also added agents now. So you can add like a cheaper agent to your canvas. And you can say, okay, I want this agent to search emails. And I can say, get all unread emails from the last 7 days. And it's going to check if it's a prompt. Because usually you never know the prompt that you're doing there. So once it does that, now we can run this. We're reprocessing the prompt. Just the prompt. Right? Like kind of like checking for the user, because sometimes they say, get me all my emails, and we'll say, that's too big. Please like define. So it's like a better user feedback. And then here you can see the agent working. And once it's done, you can go and give the next word to agent. So let's say I want to categorize my emails now. So now I can just say categorize. I can pass the emails that this is going to give me. I want to run it in a loop, because if it gives me a list of emails, I want to do that. And I can say, okay, we'll get a list of emails, loop over them, and for each email item, apply this category. And you do that, and then at the end you can give it back to your Gmail agent and say, okay, now you, what I want you to do is label the emails. So I'm going to give you the categories. I also want to give it the actual emails as well. So I'll do that. And I can give a prompt here that apply. Yeah. So we're like completely changing how like you'll be able to create workflows, and we're thinking from like the level of a block should be agent. It should understand your prompt and give you the data you want, so you can take the data and do whatever data you want. And other thing that we did that we found a lot of people find issues with the no-code solution is you always hit a wall. And when you hit a wall, you want to like kind of just write some scripts and like go to that. The problem with that was if you build like a coding editor, how are you going to build really NPM packages very difficult. So right now we built an SDK. You can bring any custom like solution. So this one is actually connected to a production database. And I can ask it any query. I can say, give me like the users who created workflow in the last 10 years. It's an agent. It's a custom agent I wrote, and I can bring it to Canvas.
That's only available to
No, it's available to like if you create an account. And I mean, yeah, of course, in the team side, you want to give permissions to like who can bring the custom block. But anyone can start writing it with the SDK cursor. And all you have to do is like two commands: keyflow init and keyflow report. So then you can bring your custom block here. And then one final thing we did was, how do you make workflows more useful? So yeah, you have apps which is like this. So let's look at an app that we have. Let's say this is an app, right? So you can open a workflow as an app, which is like very standard practice to do. This is the old version, so this is our staging. The app looks much better now in terms of like UX. So we have all these things, and you can like run your app or see the history of like every previous run.
Oh, okay. So you can start your agent
just from here. But we also thought a lot of the times, like when we were working with ChatGPT in the flow, we don't want to go to like Keyflow and then come back and like copy paste the output. So we said, what if we could just bring whatever workflow you create to Claude or to Cursor? And for that, we just use MCP. So now you can like one click create an MCP server, and you can like select the flows that you want to give to it, that you've built with no-code solution.
Oh shit! So you can just turn a workflow into an MCP server?
Yeah, multiple workflows into one toolkit. So you, not even just one, you can have like
So you
multiple.
basically create like all this custom shit that like
Where you want.
become an
Yeah.
MCP server,
Yeah.
and then you can put permissions around it, right?
You can put permissions
once
around
you
it,
do
yeah.
mod on MCP
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. So basically, you can kind of like just create this. Like we want to be able to give people no-code ability.
Who's we? How big is your team?
It's 8 people right now. Yeah.
Are you just soloing?
So,
Or like bootstrapping?
bootstrapping it. We might raise because we are getting to a point where infra cost could like do a lot. We're gonna raise money, but yeah.
Don't waste your time. Like, don't try to bootstrap.
No, we are. So right now the plan is that this thing that I showed you, we want to launch it properly. We want to make hype around it on Twitter, and we're like writing the video story right now. I'm creating templates because once people start using this, I want them to be able to like. So here we did this recently in the canvas. The templates are right here, right? So like literally you can click on it and you will get your template and you will be able to see how to do that example. So when you come in, even if like you don't stick around, you get something out of it. That's the goal. So we're gonna work hard on the launch.
Nice work, man. That looks really good.
Once we do the launch, then we're gonna be able to.
So, yeah, Joe, can you just turn the volume down? Testing, testing. All right, folks. Hi, everyone. Hello. All right, can you guys start making your way here? We're going to start demos. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 demos. So we got a lot to go through. Just a note on demos. Try to keep it to like less than 2 minutes. So it's very, very short. You're just talking about your project, what you built. Of course, it's only, for many of you, if it's the first time you've built with this, we're not expecting a lot of things to be built. It's only an hour or so. But just having walked around, there's already some like super impressive stuff. So I'm super excited. First up is Mayank. Actually, can everyone just like start making their way over here? Just so I'm not yelling to... Oh, thanks for coming, man. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it should be a good one. Okay, just for logistics, Mayank, why don't you come up? Just plug in, and while you're getting set up, I'll just walk through. If you feel like you can use this mic and tie it to here, otherwise I'll just leave it here.
I think I'm loud enough. I hope so.
Yeah, this is for the live stream.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah. Actually, while Mayank's setting up, if you haven't already, please go to program.live. It's a new it's a new YouTube channel we launched today. And if you don't already, please subscribe. All of the... we obviously will be using, this is our first live stream. It's the first video that's going to be on YouTube from this channel. Second, actually, there was a test video yesterday. And but in between events, we're going to be using it as a way to talk about the product we're building. I'm the founder of this product called market.dev. We're also going to be using it as a place to do the same things we do here, which is learn about new open source, learn about new developer and creative tools, and just do it in a much more scalable way. But I kind of like the events. So we'll be live streaming events, but also look forward to more content on that. So program.live, please subscribe. All right, I'm going to hand it off to Mayank. Is your thing up? Actually, you know what? You might have to sit here, if you don't mind. Just sit on the side, just so you're not in the way. Oh, it's just, yeah. There you go. I'm just going to place this here. Okay. There we go. There you go.
So, hey guys, this is gonna be the silliest demo of the day, to be honest. I just like spent 5 minutes building this, so all the best to everyone who's coming up. I've seen some good demos. So, this is a really quick game in which I have to use my posture to dodge some projectiles coming my way, and that's pretty much it. So, it's using my shoulders and head as the tracker, and I just dodge the things that are coming on my way. It gets tricky. Oh shit! See, it gets tricky as they increase in numbers. That's it. That's
Oh,
it.
you just have to dodge it.
These are the dodges.
Oh.
We can add more things. I've gotten more ideas, but I need more than 20 minutes.
When I was playing it, I thought the outcome was the opposite. I was like trying to.
No, it's the
It was like Fruit Ninja, but with your face.
Like,
kind of
make your
thing.
own rules. Make your own rules.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. That's it. That's it.
All right. Next up is chemistry, and after chemistry is Lachlan. So. Get ready whenever.
Yeah, so I wanted to try some cool stuff with audio. I see a lot of like cool image and video and computer vision projects, but I just wanted to see how good is the audio classification provided by this Mediapipe library. So in spite of the fact that this model is already trained on a lot of audio data sets, they just mentioned that give us a demo about how the audio of a cat purring looks like or an audio of a train looks like. But if I just press on this button, it would just start classifying whatever sounds it hears in the surrounding. So so you'll see some classification scores. I don't know why it's not working right now, but yeah, classic demo problems.
Should we
Okay.
make some sounds?
I am doing that and it's actually able, okay, so stop classifying.
So what I'm hearing is we're more cat than train.
No, that is just an example to show you, but it should, unfortunately it's not working. I did show this demo to my really good friend I met here, Himanshu. So I'm sorry, the demo is not working. I would come back again if it starts to work, but yeah, thank you everyone.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean standard demo stuff, but this, feel free to like show each other the demos whenever. Lachlan, and after Lachlan is Andy, and then Logan. So just fire.
Oops, it works now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just I'll take a few seconds of your time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello everyone, hello. Do you want to play some music?
There we go.
Hello. Do you want to? Can you make some sound or let's play a music file. So as you can see, like it's able to see some sound effect, ringtone. You see, it came also with livestock. So I think it's pretty good in classifying.
There's a chicken.
So that's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bird watcher? Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Next up is, well, all right.
I made an accessibility feature that makes your computer less accessible. Do I want to mirror? Okay. Hello. Oh, interesting. My demo is also broken. Sorry?
In the right virtual environment?
That is, I will check right now, but I was a second ago. Okay, how about I go next?
Okay, sure. All right, next up is Andy, and then
Just while he's setting up. So there's a real world use case in this. I have a close friend and unfortunately he's got Parkinson's disease and he has sort of this, takes medication all day. And he freezes up at certain times, predictably during the day. So we're trying to use face tracking as maybe a solution to operating a computer or basic tasks. So take it away, Andy.
It does. Do I need to put my Mac in any sort of mode?
Are there any secrets to getting HTML code to run?
Awesome, thanks. Okay, oh no, where'd it go? Back. Start.
It's my bad.
It should still be going.
Oh yeah, it should still be. Near extend to
Because I did this. Okay.
the adapter.
Before we start on this track, Ben warned us that it may not be super easy because like it's not like the Mediapipe models tell you where you're looking. It just gives you like some data points around the pupil. And so anyway, this is how far we got. There we go. Okay. Let me just. Okay, so we're calibrating. Okay, and now, oh gosh, let's see if I can. Okay, I'm going to go from TR to TL. Come on, do it. Anyway, that's as far as we got. Let's see if this shows up on there. Okay. So this is a posture tracker to tell you when you're slouching at your computer. You can see it's like measuring a bunch of angles on my body. So if I like slouch over, you can see it says my posture is poor, and then eventually it'll start to give me a worse wellness score. And like alerts, takes a while sometimes.
Hey, why the wellness score is 100 when you're slouching? It's dropping down.
Yeah, it's dropping down. And then there's one that will possibly crash. Where's my mouse?
What was the alertness indicator that you had there?
Oh, whether my eyes were open. This one has let's see if it launches. It was kind of crashing my computer before, but, so I tried to do it again with some improvements. Okay, it might crash. But you can see it's like tracking how frequently I blink. So you might not be able to see it, but it's like, it's using the rate that I blink to measure alertness. So, yeah, I mean, I think you could like work this into being like kind of useful. I bet you could see it says like wait, oh, it went away. But it said like I had like an alert that I was drowsy because I wasn't blinking fast enough. But yeah, you could, I think, get this to be moderately useful if you worked on it. But yeah.
Your slaughter just turns off on me.
Yeah, if I. Anyway, yeah. This one is kind of a little bit broken, but.
Oh, sorry. Lachlan, you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sana, you're next.
So what this does is it uses Mediapipe, and it just uses your hand position to control your actual mouse position. There. So it's not particularly practical, and it makes it harder to use your computer. But you can see that, and then if you pinch in just the right way, you can actually click. Yeah. This is like, yeah, I would not recommend using this. But
Did you attend Terrible Hack? Okay, the Creative Code Toronto group ran an event, and they run an annual event called Terrible Hack, where the point is to show up and make things that are terrible.
I would love that.
Highly recommend it. Like once a year, yeah.
That sounds fun.
All right, Sana.
Mine is so stupidly simple, and it's just nothing is mine. It's all Gemini, and it's also my first time using Gemini for code, so excuse it, please. Okay.
Is the cable.
Oh, there we go. I don't even know how to make this like full screen, so I'm just gonna zoom out so you can see it, I guess.
You use Gemini for building this?
Huh?
You use Gemini for building this? Like the Gemini?
Yeah.
Google?
Yeah.
Cool. This is amazing.
It says hello.
Wow.
That's all.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's it.
All right, next up is Jen. Woo! And then Serge, you're up next after that.
Okay, I tried to do like Flappy Bird with like flapping, but then the flapping wasn't really working because your hands move too fast. And then I had talked to Ben, and he suggested to use like blinking or like something to do with the face because they move a bit faster. So I couldn't get the blinking to work either, so I went with my mouth, which was also Ben's suggestion. But it's kind of hard and not, oh, okay, it's not. So I don't know if it's gonna, but it's hard.
So cool.
My comment was that the main limitation is how stupid you want your player to be.
So naturally I went with that one, but it was because the hands didn't work. But yeah, anyways, thanks Ben for so yeah.
That's incredible. Serge. And Robbie, you're up next. Yep. Robbie and then Berto. Oh, yeah, sorry. You want to go up after that? No, it's okay. Okay. My phone is right.
Is it extending?
Are you mirroring or extending?
Okay. So in the spirit of useless navigation, instead of using your hands, I decided that it would be cool to use your nose as the cursor, and then you blink, and then just click. But I don't know why the clicking is not working. Let me recalibrate. Yeah. So calibration should see my range of motion and then decide like how to, based on my screen size, where the cursor should go. There we go. And I build this piano.
That's nice. You're using V0.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you can vibe, play music with your eyes and your nose. That's that. Really cool technology.
I wonder if the nose is a better cursor control than your eyes.
Sorry?
The nose might be more reliable cursor control than your eyes.
Yeah, so the nose is the cursor controller.
Yeah.
Comparison to him.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Seems weird.
Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Robbie. My demo tonight is largely inspired by the music demo, or the classic music demo used in like these CV applications. But I wanted to make it a bit more usable and like a bit more integrated in like a real like musical performance workflow. So there's this technology called Strudel that I've been learning on the side. It's basically a programming language to make music. So like this code like turns into like events that are sent to like a music synthesis engine on the browser. And then yeah, so basically what it's doing is it's taking like it's detecting my hand values and then it's going to send it to the server. So let's try to see what this sounds like. Okay, so it's playing on my laptop right now. So right now we just have like a basic like pad sound, and then if I like make it more higher, it's a bit more brighter. Then if I bring it lower, it's a bit more darker. And then yeah, so like if a real like live performer like using this could like easily like bring in like more embodied ways of performing in their performance. It's like it's pretty techno-y, but like it's kind of hard to hear on the laptop sound, but like these values are somewhat changing the sound here. It might be more pronounced on this one here.
So are you controlling the sound of the bell?
Yeah. So here it's a bit more like brighter,
Right.
and then when I bring it down, it's a bit more like darker. If I bring it here, it's a bit more like yeah, so the effects that are being used are low-pass filters, and then it's just basically changing like the value of the low-pass filter. So if it's higher, then it's a bit more brighter, lower, a bit darker. But yeah, like you can imagine like someone like doing this in a real-life performance, like, you know, changing the code here, changing different sounds, and then actually like, you know, doing some crazy movements. So a lot of cool stuff that you could do there, but yeah, that's what I was playing around with.
All good, all good. Okay, so my app kind of has a little bit to do with art. So,
Just give it a sec there.
okay,
You might just have to change it to mirror.
okay.
Okay. So basically what this does is it puts like an art filter on top of you, and based on your facial expression, it will change the art. So if it's like happy, it will be like bright, and if it's like mad or surprised, it will be like, it will change. So I'll try my best to do like good acting skills. So this is me being really, really surprised. So like, and then this is me being really mad. Oh, thinks I'm calm. Okay, can't be mad right now. Okay, this is me being happy. There we go. Thinks I'm happy. So that's pretty much it.
Wow, that's super cool. Wow, thank you, everyone. Yeah, so this was pretty incredible. I can't believe how quickly we can go from like, hey, I'm learning about something to something that's actually real. So I don't know how many of you guys have been using vibe coding tools and stuff like that to do your demos, but it just blows my mind now. Like, you know, the first like few programs, it was like people were trying stuff. Now it's like people are just able to do. It just blows my mind how quickly we can get to like these types of prototypes. So, anyways, that's it for like the schedule stuff for the evening. I just want to say thanks to everyone for participating. And I think for the rest of the evening, feel free to hang out. The space is open until around 9ish. Feel free to mingle. I just want to say big thanks to Ben as well for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it was like really, really great to connect with you, and I think hopefully there's some connections here in I think the community that you're a part of, and the kind of new systems community and the community that hangs out here. There's probably a lot of overlap, so I'm really glad that we connected. But yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you once again. The only call to actions are stay tuned for more program events. Our next one is going to be probably in mid-August, I think August 13th. We're going to be announcing it soon. It's going to be on the Whisper ecosystem. So all things related to audio and audio transcription. We're probably going to be joined by Neil, who is the founder of an app called Super Whisper, which many of you may already be using. That one's going to be incredible as well. So look forward to that. And of course, in between that time, look forward to more content coming out on program.live. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of the evening.